Hello, hockey fans! Welcome on in to another episode of the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. History is in the making. We've got, of course, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are well underway. Two outstanding series that are, in so many ways, looking like mirror images of one another. Some similarities, both in the fact that home ice is just not holding up for anybody, but also that the teams that one of us predicted on this show are holding, those predictions are holding up. But they are also unique series. They've got their own ways in which they're playing out and they're holding up. We will discuss one series is going on now as we speak. Another will be going on tomorrow. We will break down both series, give our thoughts on the games that have happened, as well as what we think will be happening going forward. And then in the women's game, history will be made tomorrow night in Boston between Minnesota and Boston in the PWHL. Who will be the first team to hoist the Walter Cup? We'll talk about all that, plus more, coming up next. This is the Neutral Zone. And hello, good evening, everyone. Once again, I am your host, Adam Karnick. Along with me, my good friend and co-host, Zach Puplis. Zach, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you, Adam?
Doing all right. How was your Memorial Day?
Oh, it was good. Relaxing at home. Got to see some family on, Saturday. So, yeah, I had a good time. What about you?
Nice. Had a good time. Got to... Lots of sausages. Bratwurst for myself, chicken sausage for my wife, and then my daughter has to have a hot dog whenever we get the grill out. So we got to get that. But I got to introduce my son to my grandpa's baked beans recipe.
Ooh.
He could not have enough of it. It was awesome. It was fantastic. Nice. He loved it. I was a little worried. It was like one of those, because anytime you give a toddler new food, it's always just like, duck for cover kind of a thing. He could not get enough of it. He could not have enough of it. So it was great. It was a ton of fun. So it was a good day, good holiday all around for everybody. But now we're ready to dive in and do that hockey thing that we do and enjoy and love so much and do so much of. So,
but of course.
Well, we got Rangers and Panthers that are going on right now as we speak. As I'm double checking, I believe it is still 1-0 Rangers. Yes, end of one. Vincent Trocheck, the lone goal in the first period. So the Rangers have themselves a lead there as they try to go up 3-1 in that series with the Panthers. We've also got in the other series over in the Western Conference, we've got the Stars and the Oilers, with the Stars up 2-1 in that series. So lots to go on there. But we're not just going to be talking the NHL tonight. No, we are going to have history is going to be made tomorrow in Boston. As Taryn Rodriguez points out in the chat, the Bruins may have crumbled. However, there may still yet be something to cheer about hockey-wise in Boston, as Boston and Minnesota go for the first ever Walter Cup in the Professional Women's Hockey League. So we will be discussing that, breaking that down. Lots of fun, lots of things to get through on the show here tonight. We'll do some of the preliminary stuff out of the way. Of course, this show, like all the shows here on IE Sports Radio, are available to you on social media. We are available on Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call the machine these days. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. You can also find both of us. We are individually on Twitter. I am at Adam_Karnick. Zach is at The Pupless. Before we dive too much further into everything, though, let's give a quick word out to our sponsors, starting with Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our spot, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at @sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And welcome back on in here to the Neutral Zone. Thank you again to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky and Seal the Deal Wax Seals. We thank them very much for their support of the station. Of course, IE Sports Radio has been around now for the last 10 years. Count it, 10 years, a decade in, bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows all across the sports landscape. Shows just like this one, as a matter of fact. We thank you for your continued support. You can find everything IE Sports Radio across all the social media platforms. Just search at IE Sports Radio, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, as some of you may be watching live on the feed tonight, you can be watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or even Instagram. We apologize if the blind that we're just blinding you, that we're breaking your phones or tablets or cameras. We can only do so much. We're sorry. So, but yes, you can be watching us live. We would just recommend turning the brightness level down before you get too far in. or of course, if you prefer just listening, we are of course continually available on Spreaker, Spotify, Gio7, Podcast Addict, all the ways you can listen to us. We are here for you. We are just glad that you are here in whatever capacity. Zach, where would you like to start tonight? Do we want to start with the game that's going on with that series, or would you like to start with the Western Conference? Where would you like to start things off for us tonight?
Oh, let's go with the one that's going on, I guess.
All right. So at the end of one in Game 4, down in Florida, down in the Sunshine State, it is the Rangers 1, the Panthers nothing to this point. Vincent Trocheck, the lone goal. After the Panthers took Game 1 in decisive fashion, 3-0. That was the three strangest combinations of goals that I think you'll ever come across, you'll ever see in Game 1. You had Florida scoring a goal, getting one past Shesterkin. Okay, fine. That's that happens from time to time. That's allowed. Then you had an own goal. You had puck go in off of a Rangers stick and past Shesterkin for a goal. And then you had an empty netter. That's the strangest way to get to 3-0 I think I have ever seen before.
Right.
Shesterkin, the Panthers only beat Shesterkin one time in the game, but they won it 3-0.
Right.
That's a weird one there. That is an unusual combination there. That is just a strange combo there.
No kidding.
Then you had the Rangers with a pair of overtime victories in Game 2, one that the Rangers absolutely had to have in Game 2, come from behind in overtime to take that one. And then you had the absolute craziness that was Game 3 Sunday afternoon, where it was just that first period was you get a goal, everybody gets a goal. And it was, and then after that, you just nothing. Sheer nothing, basically, until you got into overtime. Which was very similar to Game 2, 1-1 at the end of 1, and then 1-1 going into overtime.
Oh wow!
In Game 2, the Rangers tried to take and tried to build up a little bit of momentum. Took the lead late in period 2 in Game 3, only for the Panthers to then just absolutely dominate the third period. It's one of these things. The Rangers may be up in this series, in my estimation, but I feel like Florida has actually outplayed the Rangers to this point. It doesn't reflect it in the way you just look and see that, the Rangers are up 2-1. The Rangers are currently leading 1-0. But I really feel like the Rangers have been very fortunate to this point to find themselves up 2-1. They've played with the lead very sparingly in this series. This is probably right now, this is one of the longer stretches that they've played with the lead right now, leading 1-0 at the end of the first period. I'd have to go back and seriously look, but I think this is the first time that a period. No, it's not the first time, but it's like the second time in this series that a period has ended and the Rangers have been in front. It's not very often. They just happen to be in front when the clock strikes 0 for the last time.
Sure.
When the game ends, they're in the lead. So it's been a very strange series in that regard. So I wanted to come at this in a couple different ways. I wanted to give advice for both teams at this point on what they can do in the series. As actually the host of our New York show, Ricky Keeler, jumps in. Outside of Trocheck and Lafreniere, the top guys are just not performing. But you're still leading in the series. You know, you're still on top. And I appreciate Ricky jumping in during the intermission of Game 4 right now. Appreciate taking a couple minutes here. Ricky has been doing an amazing job after every single postseason game for New York, which has been a lot because obviously the Rangers here in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks had a fairly decent playoff run. He's been jumping on after every playoff game and doing an episode of New York State of Sports, which has been outstanding to listen to and keep up. So kudos to you, sir. We'll be doing some more kudos for you here in a little bit. So I wanted to give a little bit of advice to both sides. Do you want me to start with New York or should I start with Florida?
Start with New York.
Start with New York. Okay. Rangers, you might be leading in this series, but you need to change up how you're playing right now. Florida's defense is smothering right now. They are just absolutely, once the Panthers establish themselves in the defensive zone, they are becoming the masters of, at most, giving up a shot on net and then clearing. The Rangers have got to accelerate their cycle. They've got to be passing the puck, being much more decisive with what they're doing with the puck. Don't let Florida get comfortable in its defensive zone, in its defensive end. Way too many shot attempts are getting blocked. Way too many shot attempts are being redirected. And way too many times the Rangers themselves are hesitating with the puck, waiting for something better to open up. Rangers, you need to speed up your play. Be more decisive. Know, are you passing or are you shooting, and do it. Don't take that second's hesitation to stop and think or stop to wait to see what else might happen. Because by the time you do that, Florida will recover to where the puck is, and their zone defense is just too strong. They're too good at taking away both the shot angles and the passing lanes simultaneously. And you might get a shot off, but it's a fairly simple, easy save for Bobrovsky. Not to take anything away from Bob. He's been doing an excellent job in this series, but the defense in front of him is making life so much easier for him. The other advice I would have for New York, one way to help put this Florida defense kind of on its heels a little bit, instead of trying to carry the puck into the offensive zone, play some dump and chase. Try to chase the puck into the zone. And what I mean by that, and for those of you who might be new to the neutral zone, first of all, welcome in. Thank you. We're glad that you found this, and we're glad that you are here. We try to make this show as accessible for new hockey fans as much for diehards. So dump and chase, what in the world do I mean by that? Carry the puck across the center line, but rather than trying to carry it into the offensive zone, shoot the puck into the offensive zone. Not on net, not trying to score a goal from, half the ice away. That's ridiculous and silly. And the goalie should make that save 9,999 times out of 100. But rather, shoot the puck behind the goalie. Shoot it behind the goalie line so that the defense, rather than being able to be physical and rough with you and try to knock you off the puck, the defense then has to turn and chase after the puck, and then it becomes a race to see who gets to the puck first. And since you're on offense and you're already pointed the right direction, you don't have to turn on the brakes or do the U-turn or anything like that. You should win more often than not. And then the defense doesn't get a chance to get set up comfortably in the defensive zone. You can get into your cycle. You can have some opportunities before Florida has a chance to get settled and get set up. Does that make sense? Am I being clear there, Zach, with what I'm saying, or could I say it better?
No, I think that makes sense.
So, and then on the other side, for Florida, I don't have a ton of advice for Florida because, frankly, I feel like Florida has outplayed New York for the vast majority of this series. It just isn't showing up on the scoreboard at the end of the night, unfortunately. So how do we fix that? How do you solve a problem like Shesterkin? Where Florida has had its best success in scoring in this series, they two of their goals Sunday, the day after a holiday. This is like the most Mondayest Tuesday ever.
Right.
It really does feel like that at times. For Florida, when they've had their best success offensively in this series, it's been either in the power play or it's been when they've been able to get a screen in front of Shesterkin. And on the power play, it's really easy to do that because you've got the extra guy who can then just, park himself right there in front of the goalie and nobody can do anything. You don't want to waste a man trying to bump him off of his spot. You've got more important things to worry about on the penalty kill there. But you can't just sit back and wait for a power. If you wait for a power play to happen in the playoffs, you're going to lose. You cannot wait for the other team to make a mistake. It's just not going to happen. Even though the Rangers' sticks have been breaking faster than balsa wood. I swear the Rangers' sticks in this series have been made of balsa wood. I can't believe how many sticks I have seen break in New York Rangers, and it's not like they're winding up for a really heavy slap shot or something. It's just like, hey, I'm going to try to get the. Oh nope, never mind. My stick is broken. Oh no. Oh, expletive. Lots of 4-letter words in a row. I'm in my defensive faceoff dot. What do I do? We have seen so many of those in this series for the Rangers, but you can't wait on that to happen if you're the Panthers. You need to set up some screens of your own, whether with one of your own guys, one of your bigger, more physical guys, or use the Rangers defenders as screens. Get yourself into a position to where Shesterkin can't see the puck clearly. Whether you're setting up a screen down low with a defender, or shoot some one-timers. Take some one-timers from the point where you're having your defensive men shoot, and it's got to go past 2 or 3 guys. You can even shoot for a redirection from one of your own guys. You've got to make it so that Shesterkin can't see the puck until it's right on top of him, because he's just been too good in this series. So if you're New York, you got to speed things up. You got to keep that puck moving. Don't let that Florida defense get settled. I know a lot of Rangers fans want to see the Rangers be more physical. You can do that to a point. If this remains a physical series, Florida is going to win. You're not going to out physical Florida. The best you can do is maybe match their physicality. I think the better play for the Rangers, increase your physicality, but make the series less physical. Try to make it more of a speed game. If you're Florida, for gosh sake, get some bodies in front of Shesterkin. The man is too good if he's able to see the puck coming from anything more than a foot away. He's gonna get the stop. Taryn, meanwhile, he feels like if the Rangers win tonight, they take the series. So I predicted the Rangers in the first place, so I'm just going to stick with that prediction until I get shown otherwise. All right, I know I just threw a lot at you there.
You're good. No, I'm right there with you. Wow. So the parallels I see on the Western side, the smothering defense, I think this round belongs to Dallas and Jake Ottinger, as they're up in the series 2-1. The Oilers won game 1 3-2 in double overtime. Lost game 2 3-1. Marchment broke the third period tie, and Lindell iced the win with an empty netter. Finally, in game 3, Oilers were up 2-0 at the end of 20, and then momentum completely swung the opposite direction in Dallas's favor with 3 goals in 3 minutes and 33 seconds in game 3, mind you.
Threes are wild.
Threes are wild, yes. And the quickest trifecta in Dallas postseason history since moving to Texas in 93. Wow. Yeah, so you got to get past that smothering defense. You got to make it so that Jake Ottinger, same thing with Shesterkin or Bobrovsky, make it so he can't see the puck until it's too late, basically. You got to set up some better screens. Yeah. So let's see here. Jason Robertson, he completed his first career playoff hat trick yesterday. And that was only 3 of the 5 goals. One of my points down here is that Edmonton has to get back to the video game scoring, video game offense, which I guess was more pertinent after game 2 when they only scored 1. In game 1 and game 3, they scored 3 goals apiece. Well, yeah, they scored 3 goals in a win, and then they scored 3 goals in a loss. So, I mean, the video game numbers are back, but, sometimes it just depends on the night. It worked out in their favor in game 1, and it didn't in game 3. So we'll see what game 4 has to hold. But, yeah, they need to restart the video game offense, make better screens, find ways to get Jake Ottinger off balance, make it so he can't see the puck until it's too late.
Yeah, we had a connection issue there for a brief second. We both blipped, but I think we're back now.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
There we go. It's the video game. We've talked about this a lot with Edmonton. The video game offense can get you places, but when you find somebody that can keep up with you to some extent and can limit the video game offense to only 3, that puts a lot more pressure on Stuart Skinner.
Yeah. Live by the sword, die by the sword almost.
Yeah. Jason Robertson, he'd been on a bit of a goal drought too, hadn't he?
Yeah. Since game 6, I forget which series, but yeah. He says, you want to help the team win, you want to score goals. Scoring goals gives you confidence, and that helps your team win. It's like a domino effect, basically. Like it's almost like a catch-22.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid had a goal and an assist to give him 100 career playoff points. That allowed the Oilers to dominate the first period, opening 20 minutes, creating a deafening Rogers Place atmosphere for sure. But they let it slip away. Dallas is now 6-1 in the playoffs, away from American Airlines Center. So they got one of the best road records, like in the whole league.
Yeah. McDavid is just so special. He is.
I know.
100 points in 62 playoff games.
Yeah.
That is, you want to talk about coming up big in the biggest moments.
Yeah. Well, but then, like you said, the video game offense, it can let you down when you find somebody that can keep up with you, somebody that's got a smothering defense, a smothering goalie. What else? They can keep up with you, but then they're finding ways to keep your production down. So that's just it. They're keeping up with Edmonton, and Dallas is able to keep their stars from scoring. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, etc. And so they need to be doing what Dallas is doing. They need to be getting more production from their secondary players, their secondary stars, because I feel like Dallas is getting even production all throughout their whole line. Dallas needs to keep stifling the Oilers with their great goaltending and their smothering defense. What else? Edmonton. Yeah. Bottom line. Hey, guys, guess what? Don't give up a 2-goal second period lead in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Good Lord.
Well, there's that. I mean, if you want to get picky, sure. You can't be giving up 3 goals in 3.5 minutes. Certainly not in game 3. That's just way too many threes. That's way too much going on there. So
wait, as many threes, you'd think it's the Golden State Warriors. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't Steph Curry. Come on here. What the heck, guys? Golly. Tara and I hope you're keeping track for us tonight. I think we're up to 3 already. So now that we've seen the first 3 games of the West, do you want to are you worried about your pick? You had picked Edmonton before the series started. Are you worried at all about your pick at this point?
Plead the fifth. No.
Hey, this is a talk show. You can't plead the fifth. The heck? This isn't a New York courtroom.
I was feeling okay last night prior to the game, but then as the game went on, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, you guys. Get it together.
Florida just tied the game. The Panthers just tied it. Sam Bennett with his 4th of the playoffs. I know the Panthers were on a power play. That's the fun of trying to keep track of a playoff game while doing the show, is I missed something inevitably.
Oh no.
I think the Panthers were on a power play. Let me real quick pull up the box score here. No, it was not a power play. It's actually all right. On the screen they gave it to Sam Bennett, but now the scoring summary in the box score, they're giving it to Tarasenko. So anyway, Florida scored. That's the important. Well, they'll sort out who actually got it here in a minute. I'm seeing multiple places are actually crediting it to Vladimir Tarasenko, not Sam Bennett. So that would be Tarasenko's 3rd of the postseason. So we have a tie game down in Florida. We have a tie game down there. So we'll see. That's good. I still feel like that series is bound to go 7. If that series goes anything short of 6, that'll be ridiculous.
Both those teams are too good. That's got to go 7.
Yeah.
I
have a massive horsefly that wound up in my studio. So if you see me suddenly try to kill things, for those watching on the live stream, on the video feed, you get all kinds of cool things when we do this on video. You never know what's going to happen.
These damn owls. These owls are everywhere. I don't understand.
Damn. Expected Patronus, something.
No, I haven't seen your LSD, but have you seen the dragons in the kitchen?
I don't know. Tell you what. God, this one this thing is freaking huge too.
Well,
yeah, ha! It's dead now. Ha! Take that. Thus ends the entertainment portion of this evening's show.
'Tis just a flesh wound.
Exactly. Anyhow, now we can get back to the important stuff.
Well, so I feel like it's a shame that one of those teams has to lose. I feel like that maybe that should be the Stanley Cup final, like.
That would make a really good Stanley Cup final, those two. It really would make for a good one. But alas, they're not. They're both in the Eastern Conference. So instead we get a really good Eastern Conference final, which is, it's still a good series. It's still going to be an entertaining it has been an entertaining as all get out series. And if it goes anything short of 6, I'm frankly going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Is it one of those, do you feel like there's certain years where the metal on metal is one step below the Stanley Cup and it's in the conference final? Do you feel like no matter who wins the cup final, this is the real winner? Like, the winner of this match?
I really do think that frankly, the winner of the West could actually come into that. Could go into the Stanley Cup final with the advantage, especially if, let's just say, Dallas stays on top here and doesn't surrender the series lead and ends this in 5 games. Hint, hint. That was my prediction back when we started the playoffs. So far, I'm doing okay.
Rub it in.
Taryn agrees with me, by the way. He has the Stars making it out of the West as well.
Yeah.
If that were to hold up, I could absolutely see the Rangers and the Panthers beating up so hard on each other that Dallas would truly have the advantage with a couple extra days rest and just not the emotional and physical toll of having to get through the grind that was that Eastern Conference final. So
not a knockdown drag out war.
right. Exactly. So no, I don't think that the Eastern Conference final is the de facto Stanley Cup final. Okay. I think the Stars could have an advantage in there. I think Edmonton versus Florida would be a fascinating cup final. And I would not be prepared to just put a blind eye towards Edmonton and say, oh, you have no shot in this series, because, all right, Florida's going to want to try to make that a physical series.
Yeah.
Edmonton might just say, yeah, that's nice, bye, and just just cycle in circles around them.
6-2, 5-1, 4-2, 7-2.
Right. If there's a team that could push through the defensive bubble that is the Florida Panthers, it's the Edmonton Oilers when they get going.
Yeah.
So, yes, Stuart Skinner would be a liability, but I don't know that I would count on Florida more often than not to be able to put up 5 goals a night, to play keep up there. So no, by no means do I think that the East is the de facto Stanley Cup final. I do think that it's going to be a fascinating matchup regardless of what we get.
Sure. There we go. That's a better way to put it. Thank you for understanding my question.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, speaking of fascinating matchups and speaking of history will be made tomorrow night. The Professional Women's Hockey League will crown its first ever champion tomorrow night. It looked like Minnesota was going to win it on home ice on Sunday night. Suffice to say, they didn't. We will recap what was an outstanding Game 4. We will preview what should be a terrific Game 5 in Boston. This is the NutriZone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a city that never sleeps. So why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Get every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Yo, what's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This Is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, and oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff for my people on the 913 South. Come and hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host JB, and right here we're going to talk anything Miami, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle, with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach back with you for about another 13 minutes or so before we call it a show here tonight. As Zach is getting himself back situated and comfortable. And there you are, Zach. Welcome back in.
Well, hello.
So we're going to get into, and I wanted to talk about the Professional Women's Hockey League, but you had one more stat on the Western Conference Final you wanted to get through.
I had part of it, and then I had to go look it up the rest of it. I was like, oh, I know. I heard some of this last night, and it was a really good stat, and I was like trying to remember who it applied to. Okay, so there were 3 goals last night for Edmonton. They had the one from Hyman, they had the one from McDavid, and the third one was from Adam Henrique. It was his first career goal, or first career postseason goal since 2012, when he played for the New Jersey Devils under none other than what coach?
Oh, 2012 Devils. I'm going to literally just say a name. Peter Laviolette.
Well, you got the first name right.
Peter DeBoer?
Yeah.
It's a small world after all.
Ironically enough, Peter DeBoer. Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I heard that stat. I was like, that is wild. And I was like, wait, who did it play? I was like, wait, hang on. Who got the goal that I didn't recognize? Let me go look him up. Sure enough, he's been playing since 2010. He played for the Devils for like 8 seasons. And that was, let's see, he had played for the Devils for a year or 2 before Peter DeBoer took over. And then, yeah, Peter DeBoer was his coach at the time when he got that last career goal. Postseason goal.
First of all, 12 years between postseason goals. My gosh.
Yeah.
You got to just feel like you're never, ever, 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 ever getting another one.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. I looked at the stat line. It looked like he said he had 5 with the Devils. So there must have been 4 other ones before that last one. And then he had none with the Ducks when he was in between. And then it said he's had 4 already with Edmonton. But how could that be if this is his first since 2012?
Something's not adding up there. Yes, that requires further detective work.
Yeah, I'll have to
that requires some further detective work there to make sense of that. But yeah, perhaps this is his first game winner since 2000. Well, no, because it wasn't a winner.
They lost. Yeah,
they lost. Yeah, never mind. Well, that was it sounded great in my head. Had I taken an extra beat to think about it.
No. You're good.
But then again, I have a microphone in front of my face. Why am I supposed to stop and think before I talk? That's not how. That's not how this works.
Right. Well, and then I was like, well, maybe I looked up, regular season. Like, no, I specifically was able to separate it out, postseason versus regular season. So no. I'm gonna go have to back and do a little more research on that one. But they showed it. They showed it on the broadcast last night, so it's got to be true, right?
Wayne Gretzky would not let them lie about a thing like that.
Right. Well, I love it on the broadcast. They've got Wayne on one side, they got Henrik on the other, King Henry, and then some nights they just have some random dude in King Henry's spot. I'm like, who is this guy?
Man, if the finals wind up being Edmonton versus New York, it's going to be a shame that TNT doesn't have the finals because they're going to be off. It's going to be all on the 4-letter network.
Oh my gosh, that would be epic.
But yeah, TNT would have to come up with something to do with those two to have some fun with it. So.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
All right. So as we are winding down now, we have history that's going to be coming up here tomorrow night. Regardless of who wins, history will be made tomorrow. As we say, also hello to Patty Bax. She's not in the chat. She's not in the comment section. However, she is letting us know that she is listening. So the host of the Buffalo Huddle, she was talking. I wasn't able to listen to her whole show. I don't know if Sabres made it into her show. It was in the back half, but she does a wonderful job of talking Sabres when they are in season. She loves talking Buffalo Sabres. So all things Buffalo sports. So good evening, Patty. So we're getting ready. History shall be made tomorrow in Boston. Once again, the Bruins, of course, as Taryn Rodriguez so predicted, and it was so shocking that the Bruins couldn't survive the playoffs. What? I know we're all just stunned and floored by the way this went down. Wake me when it's over.
Hey,
however,
they won the Trust-O-Meter game versus Toronto. Just remember,
they beat Toronto. Some people would argue that that's not an accomplishment in the first round of the playoffs. Not me, but some would.
That and $10 will get you a hot sandwich for lunch.
Exactly. What was the quote I saw from somebody on social media? It was a guy, wasn't in Canada, wasn't in Toronto, somewhere else in the world, happened to bump into somebody that was wearing a Maple Leafs attire. And he looked at him and he said, "So I'm guessing that you're not picking up anything past the first round, are you?" I was amazed that the guy couldn't see the humor in that comment. But anyway, before we get totally off track here, before we go completely off the rails here, in the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, the Walter Cup, it was in the building Sunday night for Game 4 in Minnesota, and it looked for a minute like it was going to come out and be awarded to the home team. It looked like Minnesota was going to win it. At 17:25 of double overtime, with the game gridlocked at 0, Sophie Jacques put the puck in net, and the place went crazy as the Minnesota faithful seemingly won the first ever PWHL championship, beating favored Boston. However, Boston, what have you got to lose, challenges the play. After video review, it was determined there was goaltender interference.
Oh, no.
They had not flown confetti. They had not brought the Walter Cup out yet. Fans had not left the building. They did have to calm everybody down and get back into kind of that mood. You had to reset the stage a little bit. And then at 18:36, Elena Mueller hit the game winner for Boston to force a Game 5.
Ooh.
So there will be a Game 5 in Boston tomorrow night. The game sold out in 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, wild.
On Sunday, basically Monday morning, by the time the game got over, they dropped the puck a little after, I think it was 6 o'clock local time in Minnesota. I think the game got over. It was something like 10:30 or 11 o'clock Boston time by the time the game. It might have even been later than that now that I think about it, but that I'd have to look up. But Boston evened the series, so there will be a Game 5 in Boston tomorrow night. at UMass Lowell, the Songus Center at UMass Lowell there in Massachusetts. It's been an entertaining series. I will admit I thought Minnesota was going to get the job done on Sunday. I thought that being at home, having that crowd where they're playing at XL Energy, where the Wild play and where the Wild things are, and thank you. I thought for a moment that one wasn't going to land. This is becoming a thing. I know women's sports in general around the country is getting bigger and bigger. The NCAA women's tournament outdrew the men's tournament. You're having more and more attendance at WNBA games. The PWHL has drawn well this season, and they're getting fans to arenas. Like I said, Game 5 sold out in 10 minutes of the game ending on Sunday night. So there will be a full and raucous, energized crowd out there tomorrow night. Boston took the first game. Then you had Minnesota win 3-0 and 4-1 in games 2 and 3. So Boston has struggled a little bit to score lately. Only 2 goals in their last 3 games. But they're right there. All they need to do is take one more here tomorrow night. It should be a fun one. It should be a good one. They've been playing excellent hockey. And they did announce, it sounds like the teams may have names next season.
Hey, good.
So I'll be honest, I don't know why they don't have names this season. But
yeah, true.
All right, before we sound the horn, any last thoughts?
The Utah hockey team. Come on, just pick Yeti already.
What are you waiting for? You know you want to do it.
Right? Do it, and your path to the dark side would be complete.
It's not even a path to the dark side. It's the perfect name.
I know.
It's just that
the path
I
to
swear.
common sense and profitability.
I swear, if the PWHL teams have names before Utah does, come on.
Right?
Come on. Come on. It's right there. It's obvious. It's staring you in the face. Just do it. Just pick
You're
it.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Just pick it. It's like what was the old Saturday Night Live sketch where Will Ferrell is playing the Cubs broadcaster Harry Carey. Just say yes and we'll move on.
I'm Harry Carey.
Yeah, just answer the question is yes and we'll move on. Just pick the name Yeti and we'll all move on and life will be better.
But my friends call me Whiskers because I'm curious like a cat.
Oh boy. Now we have done it. We have gone off the rails. All right, I'm going to sound the horn before this thing gets utterly ridiculous. That will do it for our show here tonight. The Panthers, while we've been jabbering on, the Panthers have taken the lead in Game 2, by the way. It is 2-1 with just over 5 minutes left in the second period. So we'll see, will the Panthers be able to even that series out? What do you think, Zach? Will we have a Stanley Cup final to preview next week, or will we still be talking about conference finals?
I'm hoping conference finals still.
All right. Well, just to be contrarian, I'm going to say that we have it determined and we'll be able to actually preview the Cup final. That will do it for our show here tonight. Want to say thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Find them at planetjerky.net or go on Instagram at planetjerky. And also Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps or on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Thank you to the czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, the infamous Larry B, who is also appreciative of my t-shirt here tonight as I'm repping the station here. Thank you, sir, for all the hard work that you are doing, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. It does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. And thanks for hopping into the show here at the last second. Appreciate that, too. Thank you to everybody else that was listening to the show. Patty Bax, Rick Keeler, Taryn Rodriguez. Thank you, one and all, for hanging out with us for the last hour or so. Finally, thank you, the listener, for sticking with us. Whether you are watching the show live on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you weren't, but you want to start doing that, just follow IE Sports Radio on all the major social platforms. You will get the link as it goes live every week, I promise. Or if you are listening later on as a podcast on Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it was, thank you for making this part of your week. We really do appreciate it. Zach, what do we tell the people whenever we leave?
Don't get checked to the board, down the penalty box, protect your 5 holes, and we'll see you.
That sounds good to me. All right, for Zach Couples, I am Adam Karnick. Together, we are the Neutral Zone for IE Sports Radio. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.